All right, so we kick things off on an entirely new trading week. Today is Monday, it's the second week of August, and here is how today's price action went. So, today I did not take any trades, luckily. Well, not even luckily, but thankfully, I stayed out the markets. There were some opportunities, yes, but at the time when they were presented, I wasn't even on the charts, and it was really choppy. So today we had no news on the calendar, as you can see from my screen right here. We had a bank holiday from the Japanese side of things. So last night Asia session wasn't even active, and we didn't do much. We closed the day down, but it delivered to the upside and to the downside with high resistance, and therefore we did not get much move. From the other day, we've been having some 5, 6, 700, 800 point, even 1,000, 1,200 point moves. And today we only had a small range of, say, I think it was from the high to the low of the, it was actually about, let me measure it and tell you, it was about 260 points, give or take, because I'm looking at the CFD chart. So this is how today's price action played out. So starting on the higher time frame, this is Nasdaq 100, and this is the 4 hour and the daily time frame that we have on the side here, and this is where we open. So we open right here, and we traded up at first, and then we actually just came right back down during the New York session. We did not sustain a rally. We opened with a premium gap, and we opened inside of premium levels. So immediately to the left of here, we had this order block resting, as well as these supply levels from over here. And therefore, I was expecting us to, if we don't gap above it, maybe it pose a little bit of a challenge. And um, it did just that. So, like I said, this was the entire range of today's price action. If I should switch to the daily chart, on the daily chart, this is how we actually look. So, like I said, we closed down and we didn't do much today, So, we have a couple points to go, a couple 100 points to go to get to new all-time highs. But like I said, it was rather sluggish today after NFP on Friday. US 30 on the other hand, we closed the day. What was it? It was a doji, just the same. So we didn't even break above the previous daily high or the previous daily low from this, what I'm seeing here. And on US 500, we had a stronger day, closing slightly positive, but we had rejection wicks both to the upside and the downside. Switching now to the 4 hour, or before I go to the 4 hour, let's look at gold. So my prediction on gold actually played out today. We ended up running up, and so we're still running up as we speak. So it is now confirmed that we have broken out of this range that we've been resting in for a couple of weeks, and the general liquidity now looks to be higher, and it's looking like we want to run these levels. So you know how gold moves. In no time we could put on a few 100 points and get back up into all-time highs. Or we could just dump on this, leave a long wick to the upside. So let us see how that plays out. Oil, we pushed up today, so I guess there was some type of uncertainty with the oil market, and therefore it caused some type of bullish price action that we see here. So we closed strong today after gapping up a little bit, closing out strong. Um, quickly going down to the 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame looking like this on the Nasdaq. So we just held this range from last week. So this demand level that we had opened from last week, we rested in it, and like I said, it's high resistance delivery. So we rejected from the upside here and we rejected from the downside here. So we were trapped between the two PD arrays, and we have this new, I think this is a new week opening gap that we have sitting right here. So we didn't do much. So at the open, we opened with a gap, we came back down into this old gap. I think this old gap here from a couple of weeks about, and then we tried to break out. We formed the high of the day just in the opening of London, and from there we sold off. We attempted a rally at 9:30 going into 10, but we did not sustain that rally. We ended up selling off, but and close pretty much at the low of the day, um, from where we started. Going quickly down to the 15 minutes time frame. On the 15-minute chart, we had this type of price action, and you can see some more defined moves. So, like I said, it's here. So we have new week opening gap here, premium gap, and we struggled to break out. You could have captured some points in here. This was the first lower day we were holding, this OB right here. This was maybe around 8, 9 o'clock. Then we broke out to the upside and sustained the rally up into the higher day that was formed. This is in London session. So midnight open, we didn't manipulate much above it or below it. We just open, continue pushing up, and then now selling off. So once we had this breaker structure right here, if you were reading the price action clean, then you could have caught the sales from here because we rejected from this nice little 15-minute fair value gap coming all the way back down to lower there. And that was from about 6 a.m. So 6 a.m. open right here, push down. We held the same other block and then we ended up buying up right here, but we sold off um pretty much immediately. Like it's a failure to break out. So no follow through. And this up close candle is what kind of just held us and prevent us from breaking out. And for the rest of the day, we tried to break above, but every time we made a high, we ended up creating a low as well. So we just tighten up the range and see it looking like engineered liquidity, and tomorrow could be just that breakout day that we want. And push price action back up. If I should go to trading view and go over the opportunities that presented on the lower time frame, let me go all the way over. So Asian session, like I said, it's just a mess. I'm not even going to look at anything there. London session was where we actually broke out. So from Frankfurt, you could have caught a buy here, a couple points, maybe 100 and change points before we came back down. London again gave us a nice breakout, and then now this looks like distribution going into the 6 a.m. So at 6 a.m. we opened and we just sold right off for about 160 points, depending on where you found an entry. I found this entry here this morning when I was going over the price action, and I was looking at the higher time frame and then comparing it to the lower time frame. So when I was pairing both time frames, I saw this 5 minute fair value gap after we had this change in the state of delivery down here. So we broke structure, retested, and this would have been the perfect sell entry. Any one of these highs here would have been good to sell from, and we farmed the lower the session here, taking out the pre-market and the daily low, the current daily low. So that was a clean low risk trade there. If I look back on the lower time frame, this trade came in at 9:30. We spiked down, and I was looking at this thing and I was saying, maybe this is an area where you can take a buy from. We did not get much follow through until inside of the macro at 9:50 to 10:10. You could have caught a breakout right here. So this area right here, we trusted this other block after we had this inversion, and I'm sure I would have probably entered from this here right here. So right here, I would have attempted to buy, push up, come back down. Maybe I could have added if I didn't go break even here, depending on the mindset and the frame of mind that I'm in. But that was actually the best trade um in that session. For the rest of the day, we tried to break out. Like I said, high resistance delivery, we rejected a few times. Farm low there, farm low there. I don't know what caused this gap, but we didn't do much. After that, we just, the volume was very low, and we just faded out into lunch, into the PM session. We tried to rally again and just got stuff right back down. And that is where we just leave things. So yeah, that is where we leave things this evening. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.